We all tend to say that we like Europe or love Europe, are proud to be Europeans, proud of European values and all that. And even though European values seem to include the Inquisition and Nazism and fascism and communism and so on top of democracy and all the other good things, why is it that these fairly small countries, this fragmented part of the world that we call Europe, came to conquer the whole world? People never think about that. Did we have all the mines, all the gold? Or no. Were we brighter? No, we know that isn't true as such. But something developed, a European culture. Now, I want to point out that is a culture of fragmentation. Europe became powerful and something to be proud of because we were divided. And that led to something which, with a horrible technical word, is called institutional competition. But it means something very important. If you look at where does it start, well, I would say it's ancient Greece. Was it a big, mighty country bigger than all others? No, they were little city-states. But they won over Persia. They created the basis for Western culture. Athens had about 250,000 inhabitants, a little less than Iceland has today, and produced all that culture and so on, and many others as well. The next great step forward in what we call European culture, that's the Renaissance. Northern Italy, city-states again, small units. I would say even most of the great contributions of the Germans to European culture is before they united. They were divided up in many states. When Shakespeare wrote his plays and sonnets, there were about 5 million people knowing English, and most of them couldn't read. It worked. And this went on. We competed with different solutions to various problems, political problems, military problems, unfortunately. We became the best warriors in the world because of the competition. And that had some drawbacks, world wars and things. But also in economics. When the British suddenly started to grow, became the workshop of the world. Why was that? Was it because they suddenly became brighter? Or did they find gold? No. No, they had better institutions, property that was protected, economic freedom, and successive steps toward democracy. You can't beat that for having progress. And other countries started to do the same thing. The Nordic countries, Belgium and so on, and it went on. And the whole point I have here, that when you look at the history and then move back, should we have common taxation, harmonization of everything? No, that's the end of Europe. Europe became so progressive, successful, because it was divided. And all those countries competed with each other and looked over the frontier and said, why are they so successful? And they went across and had a look. And came back and said, I think we have to do the same thing. Much as I was against it, but. Now, if you get a European Union functioning the way they are planning, it is harmonized. It means that some people centrally placed in Brussels are supposed to know much better about everything, including the future, and laying down the law of the whole Europe. All the competition about better solutions disappears. We might end up having a Greek economy, and so on. We don't know about that. When you look at Europe now, some countries are extremely successful. Others are not all that successful. It's because they behave differently. And then you must say, but we will force them all to behave in the same way. But do you know that they will behave in that best way that we know afterwards was the best way? No. You can ruin the whole continent by letting international civil servants in Brussels, in the Brussels establishment, taking all those decisions, harmonizing and unifying the whole European system into something which might look fine when they've done it. 15 years later it will be outdated. Have you seen anything being changed for the better in the European Union? No, it always moves the same way. Progress in the European Union is to get rid of differences between the countries and get rid of that institutional competition that has made Europe, culturally, economically and so on, science and all that. And this, I think, is something we should all remember when we think about this, that above all these things we are angry about or worry about, that they've done the wrong thing in Brussels and so on, yes, but on the whole they shouldn't be doing much at all in Brussels. Europe is in fact still great because they haven't succeeded with their plans. This is what you should remember for the future.